Obviously, Fletcher's shot-making ability, and did a good job of finding him. We had some offensive rebound spray-outs. Jack hit him a couple times. Braden obviously fouled me, but I thought that probably ends up being the difference. Only having 7 turnovers. Anytime you can play a game and have your turnovers under 10, that's going to be good. But what sticks out, obviously, the improvement is the rebounds being even and giving up 20 offensive rebounds. And you get when somebody is inconsistent from 3 and maybe taking a couple ill-advised threes, but 20 of them is a big number. And so I would say that's probably the biggest thing I would take from that. But also just a really good sign that we lose a key piece that didn't play today, and then other people stepped up. Jack Benner played well. Liam gave us some good minutes there. So I think that's a good sign, because guys are going to have games that they're going to miss or have foul trouble, things of that nature. The next guy's got to step up and play.
Matt, what's Trey's status, and when did you know you weren't going to have him today?
Yeah, I didn't know until shoot around, but he practiced yesterday, and at the end, like a kind of a hip pointer, kind of his rib cage started bothering him. So then he tried to go today, and so we'll get some tests done tomorrow and kind of see where he is. I don't expect him to be out. He might miss Friday, but I don't expect him to be out a long time, if at all. He could come in tomorrow and practice. He could come in tomorrow and say he can't practice. So we're just going to see. It's kind of a different injury.
Obviously, the way Jack had sort of progressed over the summer, you thought he was going to be a factor at that position. Maybe not this big of a factor on opening day, but especially from a rebounding perspective, a defense perspective, how did you feel that he handled that assignment?
I thought he did some really good things defensively, especially in help, just his awareness and knowing what's going on. He's a cerebral guy. He's a good passer. He's got great range on his shot. And he's someone in that position that can pass the basketball and handle the basketball. He played point guard at times in high school. So I thought he was great. But he rebounded. He found Fletch those 2 times. I thought both of those plays that he made when he chased down those rebounds and found Fletch were big plays for us.
Hey Matt, I know start of the game got a little tricky a little bit, but how good was it for your ball club to have a game like this early on to start the season?
Yeah, I think they just couldn't get on track shooting the basketball. I think they had to have some of those go down to get their goals a little bit. But I think anytime you can get that first game in play, you can get that under you, especially with a little bit of adversity. I think it helps you. Like a coach likes adversity, but you still win it, right? You don't want the adversity where it's a loss, but that's normally the best teacher. And for us, we wanted to get to Hughes, and he still hit 3 threes. I thought Hughes played well. I thought he did some good things. Casey, we recruited him when he was younger, did some good things. They just, you just can't go 2 for 26 from your next 3 guys and expect to win the game. They just didn't shoot the ball well. And we all have those games for that, but I don't want to take anything away from our defense either. I thought our guys did some really good things. But no, just looking at it, you want to get into that grind of moving to the next game, but learning from the past, right? So we got to learn. We got to do a better job of rebounding. But the thing that never ends is the rebounding and taking care of the ball. And if you think you got it figured out, you're fooling yourself. You never have it. You're always working on those 2 areas, because if you can win the possession war and you have equal teams, you're normally going to win the game.
Coach, I know you're always trying to keep teams out of the paint. That's your goal. But how important was that tonight to keep Keyshawn Porter, who's an explosive player, and shut the water off on him basically all night?
We let him get in the post a couple times, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to full front him. The other thing was keeping him off the glass. He only had 2 offensive rebounds, and so we started our matchup with Braden there, because we wanted CJ to get to Moeller and make that hard, just that initial surge. Defensively, but yeah, just trying to keep Porter in front of us and try to get him just to try to score over us. Keep him out of the paint, keep him out of the middle, and make him score over us.
Now, I think you're aware of the pulse of your fan base where people love Fletcher Loyer or they want to replace him. It seems like that's kind of been the...
Well, the people that want to replace him are very smart.
That's what I was going to ask.
So let's don't hang out with them.
What is the value in him? Obviously, he's a great shot maker, but he
Yeah.
does a lot of things that just help you win that probably go beyond the eye for this program.
Right, yeah, getting 30 points on 11 shots is, unbelievably efficient, but, tough, hard-nosed, knows the game, knows what's going on, always in good position, understands the purpose of what we're doing on both ends. And that's what a good player does. A good player understands purpose to why things work. Other guys are just talented and they're hooping and they're playing. He understands things. He understands angles of screens. He understands pace. He understands when they take things away from him. So he's a great player. He's won a lot of basketball games. He's probably going to leave here as, with Braden and TK as the all-time winningest players.
Matt, even on a night where Jakari doesn't have a big point total, just his aggressiveness on offense and when to attack, how has that kind of evolved this offseason?
Yeah, we had 2 exhibitions and 2 scrimmages, and he played really well in all 4 of them. He didn't have a great night today. Just, missed a layup in transition. He had the one where the ball squirted around on an offensive rebound. He missed that one. He missed another one. And then it's hard to sometimes pick up the pieces and feel good about yourself. I was glad, he stuck that 3. He's played really well for us. He's done some really good things. Today wasn't his day, but it's like I talked about in the NCAA tournament. If you're going to play 6 games, you're probably not going to shoot well in 6 games, right? You got to understand. Well, the same for any sequence of 6 games. You're just not going to be always great for 6 straight games. It's just not the way it is. But you can do other things, and he does a lot of other things, for us. So, good guys, worked really, really hard. We have more than 5 stars, so I think you saw that tonight.
Right.
2018 and 7 fouls drawn between Clough and Jacobson. Is that
Say it again.
20 points, 18 rebounds, 7 fouls drawn between your 2 centers? Is
Yeah.
that kind of more like it for you in terms of what your
Yeah.
program's been?
Yeah. Just the combination. Sometimes people don't look at it that way. I always look at it that way. You have a 19 and 18. If one guy played 40 minutes, got 19 and 18, everybody would go crazy, right? Damn, that's impressive. That's what they got. Right? 20, is it 20? My math skills. The Delcom schools in Muncie strike again.
Oh.
20.
11 plus
points,
9.
20 points, 18 rebounds. There we go. I have actually a master's degree, so that's what you get when you go into coaching. No, I thought they were good. I thought Daniel had some opportunities that he'd like to have back, just around the rim that were pretty close right there. But Daniel just needs to stay aggressive. I thought Oscar looked comfortable in a couple post moves, and that's where, for him, it's one thing, but Oscar Clough has averaged 18 points in a college season before, right? So he's done that. He's not going to get the same volume with us,
Right.
But there can be particular games where he does. So we need him to score this back to the basket. We need Daniel to keep being a lob threat. Got to get it from a defensive standpoint to shore it up a little bit better. They don't need to have that many opportunities. We got to do a better job of keeping the ball in the paint, but they got to do a better job of boxing out. They have 18 rebounds between them, but they got to do a better job of hitting. They gave up some offensive rebounds tonight because if you look at AJ Casey, Joshua Hughes, Dyson Murr, if I'm saying this last name correctly, those guys, that's 14 offensive rebounds, and those are 4s, 5s right there. So we got to do a better job, and it's not always them. We do switch, and sometimes things are more team. But those guys, if they want an area where they can secure things for us, is keep being on the offensive glass and keep them off the offensive glass.
Daniel Jacobson had 11 points, 2 blocks, and it seemed like every time he scored, he was fist bumping or just bringing some form of energy.
Yeah.
What do you think that having that form of energy, and especially off the bench at a center position, can do for y'all this year?
I think it helps, just from the fact that it's kind of like a tag team with, Oscar's a bigger, more physical guy, and he's a longer, more athletic guy, just to have a different look. I think that sometimes can cause problems because they're 2 totally different players, even though they play the same position. But no, Daniel's had good energy about him, and he's done some really good things, for us. I think he'd like to have a couple of those lob passes back that he didn't, but it's him getting comfortable when he gets out of things, being able to jump, catch, finish. Everything doesn't have to be an alley-oop, but you're such a target when you're that long and you have that kind of size. But no, he's been great.
Right.
Yeah, under the 10-minute mark in the second half, you gave that lineup with Meyer and Fletch and Braden about a 4 or 5 minute run there. Were you looking for something specific, and I guess what did you see out of it?
Yeah, no, just trying to get guys minutes, but also, you know, at times when you're subbing and you're doing different things, you're getting minutes that you don't like your lineup all the time. Obviously, that's a good lineup, and I like any real combination of our 5 guards, you know, that got to play. But I thought Omer did some good things, and you know, he gives us a different look, more as a passer than anything, kind of having 2 points out there. I know Fletcher likes it. Because both of those guys can really, really pass the basketball. Oscar's a good passer. TK's a great passer in those short rolls. And so JV can really pass. And so that's the fun thing. If you ever go to an NBA game, that's what I always grab, besides just the size and the speed and the skill level. It's just like, it just seems like everybody can pass the basketball. Like, you got to get people behind plays, you know, being an actor with action, but you got to get that ball moving. If you can't get that ball moving, they're going to be able to recover for things.
Hey, Matt, you guys are ranked preseason #1. The program's been ranked #1 a lot the last few years. How are your guys handling those expectations on that this season?
Yeah, I think it's fine. We don't really talk about it. At least I don't talk about it. Like, it's just talk about Evansville, right? Now let's talk about Oakland. Like, when you just keep it there, it keeps things simple. I understand, like, you know, I thought it was really cool the first time we were ranked. Like, and then after that, like, you're glad you're ranked, but you want to be ranked there, you know, at the end of the season. Like, you want to, you know, but you want to earn that too. Like, we didn't earn this one. Like, you could say we earned it from previous years, but we didn't earn it this season in 25-26. So we're still on proving ground. So we just got to stay grounded and worry about Oakland, because they can come in here and beat us.
Matt, for everything Braden's done for about 3 years, we've heard you telling him to play off 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It really seems like he's embraced that. I don't think in the exhibition or today he's been caught in the air at all.
Yeah.
And just for someone as good as he is to be willing to add and adopt something like that to his
Yeah,
game.
but it's the one thing, like, you can't be with great players, like, you gotta be in the gray area at times. He makes good passes at times. He gets stuck every blue moon, but he still is able to keep his dribble alive. And then when he doesn't play off of 2 feet, he does make good plays off of that. Just kind of talking to him about it, like, not doing it like late in games, like, but it's his mojo, like, it's his like, kind of his superpower, that passion and that ability to play, not like with a reckless abandon, but like you gotta, when you have what he has in terms of seeing the court and passing the basketball, you gotta give some wiggle room there.
Nathan and Brian.
You called Jack a cerebral player. I think sometimes there can be a thin line between cerebral and overthinking, and maybe especially in a moment like this, first game, everything. I guess he comes out and he's taking those shots quickly. And what did you take from that? Is that some of that the influence of the other guys you have in this program?
Yeah, no, let it rip. Yeah, you know,